What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Welcome to a brand new segment on the Wrestle-MaGiC channel. Welcome to Wrestle-MaGiC Hot Topic. This is the show where we take a couple topics that have been on our minds or been in the news lately, and we talk about them, discuss them, and bring it forward to you guys to see what you think. We have 3 topics today, starting off with number 1. Number 1 being, what's going to happen after the women's tournament?
I mean, this one's pretty short and sweet, I think. I mean, we both kind of...
Well, here's the issue, okay? Mm-hmm. I made this point a while back, and here's a nice picture here. I was editing that through the power of editing. But the Cruiserweights got the Cruiserweight Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And they have 205 Live.
Right.
But they're still on the main roster, but their main show is 205 Live. The UK tournament happened, and the UK guys are getting their own show.
Mm-hmm.
The women's tournament is happening. So now here is my dilemma here. Are WWE potentially going to do a women exclusive show? Because you see that nowadays. You see Ring of Honor has an exclusive thing called Women of Honor. That's completely separate entity from Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
So, could WWE be playing that? Or is WWE just going to take the 32 women, or as many of them as they can sign from this tournament, and disperse them between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT? Because that is the thought. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think that it's going to be dispersed. I wouldn't mind having the women have their own show, but at the same time, is that too much wrestling? See, now I bring up a valid point. You'd think it would be cut and dry.
Mm-hmm.
One would think so.
Mm-hmm. For a couple of maybe a year and a half or something like that, maybe they'll get their own show. But when they realize that that's they're sacrificing ratings between shows, they'll bring them back onto the main ones.
Well, I'm not suggesting at all that they take the women off the main shows.
I'm not suggesting it either, but if they did, that's what would end up happening, is that it would just... they would think, oh, more wrestling, it's just what our fans want.
Not that much.
Yeah, not that much, though, because they'll realize that, like, you know, the ratings usually go on Monday Night Raw, decent ratings, for other reasons. SmackDown gets the most ratings, NXT gets some ratings, 205 Live gets nothing already. So if they were to have a women's show on Thursday, Mondays after Raw, please no.
Well, here's the thing. It's like NXT is either always number 1 or number 2 highest rated shows on the network when they do their polls.
Mm-hmm.
With like 90-something% watching NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. And the second thing is that as wrestling fans,
mm-hmm.
we need a break.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the pay-per-views every two weeks doesn't really work. And the fact that if we do have a pay-per-view week, we talk about pay-per-views. We have pay-per-views on Sunday, Raw Monday,
mm-hmm.
SmackDown Tuesday, 205 Live, and Talking Smack on that same day, and NXT Wednesday. That's 5 or 6 wrestling shows per week in a row. Simply. And that comes a time that it's too much, and your fan base needs to breathe a minute. Not, even though I personally say, for me, I basically almost live wrestling because I talk about it every single day or listen to it every single day.
Mm-hmm.
There's times when I the night after Mania, right in between Mania and Raw, I had to take a break from wrestling and watch other things because I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they should do the women, take, that sounded really bad, taking the women and putting them on multiple rosters.
Mhm.
But I can actually see, I could see that happening before a women's only show.
I think the best way to alleviate the whole our fans need a break thing is to stop having all of the shows together during the week, sort of. So, 205 Live's an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
NXT's an hour. So, keep Raw on Mondays. Monday Night Raw just has a ring to it now. SmackDown Live scheduled for Thursdays.
Well,
And 205 Live and NXT could be on Wednesdays.
Well, SmackDown was on Thursday and Friday before, but the problem was because of the travel schedule. Because mostly the wrestlers will travel all together and get their stuff done in the first few things of the week, and most of them will go for the weekends
Right.
and spend time with their family or do the house show circuit.
Right.
Get their wrestling done over with in the beginning of the week. So that makes it really hard, and SmackDown's always been taped on Tuesdays. It's just nowadays, it's just been live, and it's more exciting that way to me, at least.
Mm.
But a way to alleviate that would probably be, I would do 205 Live on Thursday or Friday, and I wouldn't even call it 205 Live. I would have them I would have them record it at Full Sail. Because their crowd was so much better for the Cruiserweights. Because the Cruiserweight Classic crowd was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
NXT crowds are amazing. They'll buy into that no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Then, we're going on to topic number 2 now. I looked up Roman Reigns on Google. And the first picture that showed up, I am not kidding, and I'm using this as the entire picture for this point of it.
It makes me so sad.
I sat here laughing for about a minute straight. Just dying. Because it was just so funny. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting Dead Man Reigns as the picture. So I put him there.
You need sleep.
I do need sleep. It was just too funny. But the topic of Roman Reigns is, which is what I was thinking about during the week. These are just some of the weird things I think about during the week. Roman Reigns, everybody is saying that what Roman Reigns needs is a heel turn. However, there's quite a bit of debate to that. So I want to do a short little discussion because it's almost 1 a.m. Will a Roman Reigns heel turn actually solve anything?
Not on Raw.
Not on Raw?
Not on Raw because, well, Raw is the show you go to see characters. As far as whoever is working on Raw right now, and mainly it's Vince McMahon who's been calling the shots, they don't see anything wrong with them. They're not going to change anything that they don't see anything wrong with, despite the fact that there is plenty wrong with them. So, even if they were to turn him heel, it wouldn't be an interesting heel. It would literally just be more of the same, except bad this time.
Well, isn't it bad already?
No, it's bad. But, I mean, bad is in moral standing.
Mm-hmm.
Morally bad. Now, could Raw maybe pull it off? Maybe, but I don't see it happening. I think you would need to put Reigns on SmackDown because that way they could, because SmackDown's the wrestling show, right? It's where you go for, wrestling, and with that you also get a whole bunch of people who are also really good at the character stuff, but mainly their strong suit is their in-ring work. So if you put Roman Reigns there, you get to see what he's actually good at in the ring instead of you do the spear and Superman punch and that's what you do, that's your thing. Now, just do those instead of having him go out there and experiment. I also think that if he has people who can carry him a little better through promos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe maybe all he needs is to move to another brand, or he may not even just need a heel turn. He may need just a different kind of face.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs to be a little more interesting. Because you look at the other members of the Shield. Seth Rollins has personality, and he also got a really good story coming out of the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Dean Ambrose, same thing. When he went on the Shield, he and Rollins had a fantastic program.
Yeah. Also, Dean Ambrose left with a suitable, a fitting gimmick, and it's one that he's already been playing, which is the crazy guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. What did Roman Reigns have?
He's basically still the Shield.
Yeah.
He has not moved on from it. That's what... okay, so this is...
He still even has the entrance music.
I want to make 2 points here. In order to reinvigorate Reigns, he would need a complete repackaging.
Alright.
By complete repackaging, I don't mean change his name, but I would need change his music, change his look, and change how he is perceived. By that I mean, do not let him have a microphone, even though I think he's getting slightly better.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a mouthpiece. Give him somebody who will be able to build him up, which is why I think Paul Heyman would be great for him.
Mm-hmm.
Either Paul Heyman or Triple H if he was, that would be poetry in motion right there.
Right. Oh, so you said completely repackage him?
Completely repackage him
then
in a way.
On Raw, if you were to repackage him on Raw, he would show up, become part of the corporation. That's how you turn him heel. You make him part of the corporation.
Like, you mean
and you change his look, getting rid of the vest, putting him in a suit, cutting his hair.
Oh God, I can't imagine Reigns with short hair. But I would,
It's weird. It's a weird image, and the weirdness would give him heat.
Unless he just wrestles in a ponytail instead of the short hair.
But yeah,
But here's the second thing I wanted to point out. We're in a day and age where the lines between heel and face are essentially non-factor. And what I mean by that is, yes, you have technically a good guy and technically a bad guy, but you have people who cheer for both.
right.
Not like in the 80s where the lines between heel and face were so defined and you knew Hulk Hogan was the conquering face going in and you would cheer for that face against Iraqi sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter or something.
That was an uncomfortable angle.
It was uncomfortable, but that's just an example I'm making. Then you had people like the New World Order,
mm-hmm.
who came in. They were bad guys. You knew it. You hated them for it, but you also thought they were cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have people like Austin and The Rock, who were
jerks, basically.
Jerks. But they had a cool aura about them that made them the anti-hero. And since that time, we've been seeing the lines between heel and face get blurred and blurred and blurred to where now, at this point in time, they're non-existent. People could boo AJ Styles could be a heel all he wants. People are still going to cheer AJ Styles. Whereas people could try to be a face all they want, like TJ Perkins, or for me personally, Rich Swann, because I'm souring on him a bit, and people won't care, or people will boo them. And it's that dynamic which leads me back to Reigns. Because if you turn him heel, some of the people are going to start cheering him.
Mm-hmm.
How do you avoid that?
Well, they missed out on an opportunity. He retired The Undertaker.
Well, it didn't miss out on it. He could play up that fact as much as he wants. That's why Paul Heyman would be a great mouthpiece, because he did that for Brock Lesnar, and it worked wonders for him.
So here, I know he's running for mayor and all.
Kane.
Yeah. But I think, whether he succeeds or he fails, if he succeeds and he wants to keep pursuing a career in politics, they need to write his character off the show better. And I think you had showed me an article where someone was saying that wouldn't it be awesome if Kane showed up and just started trying to destroy Reigns.
Yes, to avenge the Undertaker's loss.
But here's the thing: if Kane wants to or Glenn Jacobs rather, wants to pursue further pursue a career in politics, then he needs to write his character off of WWE television. And what better way than to enter a program with Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns retires Kane. Then Roman Reigns can turn heel, playing up the fact that he retired both Brothers of Destruction.
Dude, you are playing into one of my scenarios for the next thing we are talking about. I have two scenarios for the things we're talking about next. But to me, at this point in time right now, unless he had a complete repackaging and he did something truly vile, like, I don't know, take out AJ Styles again, then
single-handedly beat a tag team of everybody on SmackDown,
then, unless he did something that vile and he's considered a heel when he did that vile, I do not see a heel turn working out for Roman's favor. I think he's just screwed at this point. So I think they're going on the right track with him if they want him to be booed. That's the point I made to you. I sent that to you in a message that WWE is technically right. Because, like Dave Meltzer said, the reason that they're pushing Reigns so hard is because regardless of if it's a good, positive, or negative reaction, he still gets a reaction. You cannot deny that whenever he comes out, he gets a passionate, fire reaction. And regardless of how it's positive or negative light, if people are talking about Roman Reigns, which is what we are doing now,
right,
WWE wins. Because they have successfully got people talking about wrestling, God forbid, a negative light, but they're still talking about the product.
Right.
And so that's one of the points I wanted to try to make. Which leads us...
But...
Okay. Never mind.
Speaking from someone who is studying for a film degree, from a business aspect, if you were to show an investor something that you had made previously, and it sucks, when it could have so easily been made better earlier on in the process, you could have done a much better job with it. If you show someone that, they're not going to hire you. So, taking this into consideration, if people are unhappy with your product, Mr. McMahon, what makes you think they're going to keep coming back?
Well,
So, if they are going to persist with this, what's going to end up happening is that they're going to be pushing Roman Reigns so hard that they're going to forget everyone else on Raw, and then there's going to be no reason to tune in anymore.
Well, that's the difference, though, where we differ. It's because I personally believe that regardless of how bad Roman Reigns is, which, honestly, to me, he's not as bad as people perceived. He's just, his booking has not been up to par. And with...
Well, I want to get something clear. I don't dislike Roman Reigns, the independent contracted professional wrestler. I don't like his character.
Yeah, exactly.
If you listen to shoot interviews with Roman Reigns, he sounds like a cool guy.
Just you don't.
And then he plays Roman Reigns' character, and then it's just all the charisma is sucked out.
Yeah, but the bad is outweighed by the good in WWE right now. Because this has been said on almost every wrestling interview that I've heard that's consistent about a big show. Your mid-card and your entire card keeps fans invested and ready for the main event. So if Roman Reigns is the main event, which he was at Mania, and we had a bunch of fantastic matches leading up to it, I was not excited about the Reigns versus Undertaker match.
No one was.
But I kept watching because the matches beforehand, Triple H Rollins, the AJ Shane, the Brock Goldberg, those matches kept me so invested in the product that A, I felt like I got my money's worth in the beginning, and B, it made me give hope that they were going to do something interesting. Whether they do or not, it's completely up for debate. But it's not just Roman Reigns for the product overall. He's a heavy part of it, yes. But the overall prospect of all the people on the card, and now that we have Shinsuke on the main roster, and we have all these people in the brand shakeup, that they're going to have amazing matches, and both sides are going to have a really great year. All that set aside, one Roman Reigns is not going to outweigh the fantastic year that I foresee WWE is going to have this year.
So do you think that just by fan interest alone, Reigns will be pushed down the card despite how hard he's being pushed? And that everyone will just... And that even if you put him in every main event of every Raw exclusive pay-per-view, people will be focusing on other matches more, that they'll actually leave before the main event? Do you think it'll get that bad?
No, because if you want to... Because fans like booing Reigns. Because they want to hear it. And if you want Roman Reigns gone, do what Dave Meltzer said. Only reason Reigns is staying and Reigns is being pushed as hard as he can is because you boo him and you give him a reaction. And Vince hears that, and he's happy that he's getting a reaction.
So...
And so if you want Reigns to be gone and leave, or be changed drastically, do nothing. Do nothing when he comes out. Sit and fold your hands and give him no reaction like you would give Kurt Hawkins. But because he gets such a passionate reaction from the crowd, Vince hears that and he's like, you know what, that's my money ticket. Because he gets such a passionate reaction. So if you don't show him a reaction, unless people do that, which I don't think they are, I don't think it's ever going to happen, Reigns isn't going anywhere, and he's not going to drastically change anytime soon. Alright, let's move on to this next topic. We'll talk about this more, if we want to talk about it more next week as well. But I have Triple H up here on the screen. So, I was thinking, we just saw The Undertaker retire. And Triple H is another part-time wrestler. I'm pretty sure he is like the last of that Attitude Era, besides Kurt Angle, of the stars who have been in WWE for a long time, that have not formally retired yet and still wrestle year to year. Which begs the question, who on God's green earth is going to retire Triple H? Because every career has an ending point. Every career has one final match. Who's going to be the last match for Triple H?
I had two answers to this, but neither are going to happen ever for two different reasons. First one was HBK. It's not going to happen because HBK is retired, and he's one of the few guys who retired and means it. And isn't, medically required to stay retired. But if you were to ask me to fantasy book it, basically HBK comes back, Triple H briefly turns face, DX reunion, they face every tag team, whether it be friendly competition between face tag teams or heels.
Them versus the Hardys.
The Broken Hardys. But yeah, and then when it was against heel tag teams, the heel tag teams would job to them, and then after they fought every tag team, both on Raw and SmackDown, by the way, because they're DX and they don't care. Then Triple H would turn on Shawn Michaels again. Shawn Michaels would then go from brand to brand, having all the dream matches he possibly can, and then at WrestleMania, there's not
last time ever.
Yeah, last time
both of these guys.
Last time ever. If Triple H wins, he can continue wrestling. He won't. And And if HBK wins, then Triple H has to retire. HBK puts away his former tag team partner and retires him. Second person was CM Punk. Reasons are pretty clear on why that's never happening, but I think it would just be poetic justice.
Yeah.
They really don't like each other. It would just be poetic justice. It's like, ha! You booted me from the company, I'm going to boot you from your own company.
Yeah. So, here are my two, and I'm probably going to get some flack for the first one. I think that one good thing would be Roman Reigns, because that would make him basically the Randy Orton of his generation and be the legend killer, because he took out Undertaker. In our fantasy booking, he would take out Kane, and he would take out Triple H. That's 3 Attitude Era stars that he's basically taken out single-handedly by himself. And if you want to turn him heel,
if you didn't turn him heel at that point, then you clearly don't.
You're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you don't know how to run a business. You don't know how to tell stories.
And the other one I think is way more poetic justice than what you were saying with CM Punk. So here's going to be a quick backstory. At WrestleMania, they like to rehash moments.
Right.
The entire finish on WrestleMania 30 was almost a carbon copy of the finish of WrestleMania 20. The stare down between Hogan and Rock at WrestleMania 18 was recreated with Cena Rock at 28.
Nice.
I could see the Shawn Michaels Ric Flair retirement redone with Triple H taking the role of Ric Flair. And who in your head is a modern day Shawn Michaels who has a great match with anybody he's with?
Styles.
AJ Styles. So the prospect of a match between AJ Styles and Triple H loses, he retires. It seems like a fitting way to go out, especially for Triple H, who has ties with Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. It would be like it's like a movie remake.
Right.
A good movie remake. And I think that would be really cool if they'd rehash the Shawn Michaels Ric Flair trying to pull out Old Yeller, and AJ Styles is doing the same thing.
Instead of finishing it off with Sweet Chin Music, he'd finish it off with a phenomenal forearm.
And Triple H would be the one saying, "Come on, hit me."
Right. But instead of being Ric Flair's begging for a merciful takedown, it's Triple H
defiant.
Yeah,
giving one last crotch shot.
Yeah. Crotch shot he will most definitely regret. So while we're talking about Triple H, I thought that I think. All right, before I say this, I have to preface this with, I know it's dark, but we both know Vince isn't retiring.
Yeah, he's probably gonna die as chairman.
So
it's probably gonna
when
happen.
that happens, and Triple H takes over, I see WWE suddenly becoming the thing that the Smarks have always wanted, because you have to remember, Triple H is in control of NXT. I don't think Vince touches that. So Triple H is the one who okays everything that happens there, and NXT can do no wrong at the moment. Triple H has partial control of SmackDown, and SmackDown is currently the wrestling show, and it's the one that the Smarks love more than Raw right now.
Right.
So, should because everyone does, when Vince dies and the company goes to Triple H, do you see that the company basically turning into NXT levels of quality? Or do you think he would continue to toe the company line in the wake of his father-in-law's death?
Now, see, I'm going to need to think about that, which means this might be a conversation for next week.
Right.
But here's my initial thoughts on that. I believe when Vince were to pass, that starting, like maybe he would keep like a lot of Vince's policies for maybe 6 months to a year.
Right.
Okay.
A transitional period.
Yeah,
He changes small things throughout that year and doesn't change anything big. But by the end of that year, it's
but at the end of that year, I foresee, and this is a really weird way to say it, the death of the gimmick. And what I mean by that is Triple H, when he's booking a NXT show, a lot of his characters that he's seen are very realistic, very down-to-earth people. Not a lot of supernatural goes on. Or if anything is supernatural, it's not like heavily grounded as supernatural. Whereas when
Aleister Black.
But when Bray Wyatt was in NXT, he was more of a cult leader. Slowly shifting into nowadays WWE, he's more of an Undertaker light.
But that's probably Vince's.
That's Vince's doing.
Grubby hands.
So
Grubby hands.
Basically, when Triple H comes up as the head of the company, he and Stephanie are towing the company line. I foresee the death of the gimmick and the new life of the reality-based, gritty two guys just wanting to fight.
Right.
We'll talk about this heavily more next week. And about
I got a good topic for you now.
Yes, you do. Different details and different things we could look at. We're going to need to think about this. But when this does happen, the wrestling world's going to get turned on its ear.
Oh, no doubt.
And everything, I believe, with 100% certainty, that everything is going to change from that point on.
Because I personally don't think that when Triple H takes over the company, we're not going to get Monster Heel Corporation Triple H. We're going to get massive Uber Mark Paul Levesque.
Yeah.
We're not getting this uptight corporate what's best for business kind of guy. We're getting the kind of guy who still calls it wrestling and doesn't call it sports entertainment.
You're not going to have fashion police.
No, you're not.
You're not going to have a
House of Horrors.
House of Horror. Well, you might if you want to continue with the cult leader thing, but you won't have supernatural gimmicks necessarily. You won't have
as much of a close friend of Undertaker. He probably is.
Yeah, but Undertaker.
I think
Undertaker came from that era.
Yeah,
and he just happened to transcend it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this more next week. I need a lot of time to think about that. But anyways, that's going to do it for this first edition of the Wrestle-MaGiC Hot Topic. I think this went pretty well. A lot of good discussion, a good half-hour discussion. Thank you guys so much for joining us this time around. Be sure to catch us next Monday when we talk about more hot topics. One of them is going to be what happens to the WWE. It's going to be morbid.
It's going to be morbid because nobody wants to talk about death, but it's going to happen. What's
going to happen when Vince McMahon either steps down or passes?
More than likely passes. He will not retire.
That's one.
I will bet every belt that I have won on this channel. Ever.
We're betting toy belts over the death of a chairman.
That Vince McMahon will not retire.
That's going to do it for this hot topic.
Hot topic.
Yeah, it is hot topic. Hot topic.
Okay, yeah.
It was a hot topic, I think.
Alright.
I said that at first. I'm pretty sure I said that at first. We're always forgetting the name. If you have a better name, leave it down in the comments below. That's going to do it for this week's Hot Topic podcast. For the Wrestle-MaGiC channel, be sure to check out the Wrestle-MaGiC podcast, which airs every Friday on the YouTube channel. And make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. For Bradley-san and myself, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys next time. You're not going to hit it because you don't. Or that's for our regular podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Gotta have a reason.
Yeah, we gotta do something different. Alright, so we'll see you guys next time.